Miley Cyrus is one of the most talked about and controversial pop artists of our generation. We all loved her when she played on Hannah Montana and Disney. We also loved when she used to drop her teen pop hits like Party in the USA or The Climb. Eventually, Miley Cyrus broke away from her Disney image. She started getting more into music, putting out more albums, started to be more known for her versatility, her looks, and her music. In this video, we're going to talk about the aesthetic of each era of Miley Cyrus's music. We're going to talk about the looks, the image, the vibes, and the concepts, and where I think she got her inspiration for each era. The first era we're going to talk about is the bangers era. This is the most controversial era for Miley Cyrus. This is when she did a complete change. This is when she cut her hair, she bought new clothes, a new sound, and even started collabing with hip-hop artists that she had never collabed with before. The aesthetic for this musical era had more of a hip-hop inspiration behind it, whether you heard in the lyrics, the outfits, the performances, or the people that she was surrounding herself around. During this time, Miley Cyrus had did a big chop to her hair, had dyed it platinum blonde, and had everyone talking. Also during this time, everyone could not stop talking about Miley Cyrus twerking. It was her twerking, whether it was on photos, whether it was videos, whether it was on stage, it was a twerking that everyone could not stop talking about. And this is a part of the hip-hop inspiration. The twerking, the big chains, the grills, the braggadocious mentality, whether it was about money or designer clothes, the wearing Jordans on stage. This was the aesthetic for this era. Now, we can't talk about Miley Cyrus's musical career without bringing up her very controversial VMA performance. Now, what I will say is I did not like the performance. No, I did not. I think a lot of people did not like the performance. I think it was just very cringy, and I think that it had everyone talking because it was Miley Cyrus, Hannah Montana, and that's what had everyone talking. Miley Cyrus continued on this performance style through her Bangers tour. She was wearing these kind of metallic money outfits with the big chains and twerking, and I guess that was just her performing style for this time. She told everyone that this era for her was not a phase, and it was just a new her being more open and unapologetic about who she was or who she wanted to be. And really, she really strayed away from the Disney image, and there's nothing wrong with that. But however, this was not the first time that this had been done. It's almost like a thing in the music industry for the women to be this good girl, then turn into this like free-spirited, unapologetic type of person. I mean, everyone has that era in their music when it comes to the women especially. Now, if you fast forward to today's music, it would be kind of normal for pop artists to experiment with a hip-hop sound or R&B inspired sound, or even have kind of a hip-hop aesthetic that goes with their pop music, or kind of use hip-hop flows in their music. And you would think that Miley Cyrus would be the first pop girl to start this, but she was not. Before her, there was Rihanna. Rihanna's 2012 to 2013 unapologetic era was one of the biggest eras of her career at that time. This is when she brought on a hip-hop aesthetic and hip-hop sounds to her music. Rihanna has stated that her fashion style at the time was inspired by 90s artists like Tupac and Aaliyah. If you go back and you look at Rihanna's fashion from 2012 to 2013, you can see the inspiration from the 90s hip-hop and the modern hip-hop, from wearing bandanas to big gold chains to big gold jerseys, performing on stages with Jordans or tennis shoes on. Also, I remember back in 2012, Rihanna also did a big chop to her hair. This is not the first time she did a big chop to her hair. Of course, she did have that whole rated R era and the good girl going back era. She had a few cuts, but she had went from wearing the blushy red hair and the curly brown hair to chopping it off to this completely black short pixie cut. And I remember that had everyone talking as well. And this was just part of her aesthetic. I remember Rihanna performing at all the festivals where she was just wearing regular clothes at a time where everyone was wearing costumes to perform in. You know, artists wore costumes. Lady Gaga had costumes, Nicki Minaj had costumes, Beyonce had costumes, and Rihanna decided to just be like, I'm just gonna wear a jersey, some shoes, some jewelry, and just really be out there. And that was just, I feel like that was her hip hop aesthetic, because that's how hip hop rappers performed. They always just wore, it was just a look of their clothes, right? There was some Jordans, some chains, their glasses, and then they would just be on stage just feeling the music. And this entire era of the unapologetic era, that's exactly how Rihanna was. She just wanted to wear her clothes and feel her music. And when you go to Miley Cyrus, Bangers era is the exact same. She did a big chop to her hair. She when she was performing, she was just wearing regular clothes and just on stage by herself and feeling it. There's nothing wrong with it, but I think that Miley Cyrus definitely was inspired by this Rihanna era. I also feel like Miley Cyrus was inspired by the sound and concept of Rihanna's Unapologetic album. I feel like if you think about the dance pop hits that Rihanna also had, like Right Now, and then you think about how she go in these contemporary pop ballads like Diamonds and Stay, where she's talking about love and the addiction to love and not wanting to be alone. And she also have songs in her album where she talk about being unapologetic, basically not caring what nobody say. I'm gonna do what I want, no matter, I'm gonna date who I want. And I feel like Miley Cyrus had the same thing. You can bring up We Can't Stop, you can bring up Wrecking Ball or Drive, and no, the songs does not sound exactly the same. No, the songs did not be presented exactly the same. However, you can definitely get the feel of each album and the similarities of each album. Now, do this mean that Miley Cyrus is a thief? No. Do this mean that she could have been inspired by Rihanna's Unapologetic era? Yes. I mean, if you take all of the evidence, I guess you can say, for the fashion looks, to the way she performed, to the sound of her music, you can definitely see the inspiration. And I know it was 1 year later, but that you can't put a time on inspiration. But the thing that gets me, and the reason why I wanted to make this video, is because Miley Cyrus have a history of doing this. And even if you look at her discography, you can see how many times she either was inspired by or copied Lady Gaga. If you think about Miley Cyrus in her Dead Pets era, you can see the inspirations from the costumes and the way she was performing that she got from Lady Gaga's art pop era. And you know, this really outrageous, poppy, artsy type of look. And then you even think about her Miley Cyrus Younger Now era, where it was like this rock and country type of style, really dedicated to like Elvis Presley kind of look. She got the exact same era from Lady Gaga's Joanne era back in 2016. You know, Lady Gaga was doing the dive bars and stuff, and then 2017 Miley Cyrus was doing the dive bars, giving those really closed-in, intimate performances for the fans. Do I think Miley Cyrus is a great artist? Yes. Do I think that she had a time in her career where she was trying to find herself as an artist? Absolutely. This happens to a lot of artists, where they inspired by other artists that came before them or that's bigger than them, and they almost duplicate either the sound, the aesthetic, or anything like that. But I do think Miley Cyrus' newest era from 2020 to now is definitely her best, from the music to the performances and to the look. I think the song Midnight Sky is going to go down as one of Miley Cyrus' greatest songs of her career. And I think that the Plastic Hearts album is going to go down as one of the greatest eras of her career. Miley Cyrus have always been a versatile artist, and she always seemed to renew herself every time, every era, and every year. Now I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like this from me, please subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to comment. See you later.